I like my the I smoke. I'm not gonna lie. I like my herb. Let's put it out there. I smoke my herb. I'm good. I'm all right.
Welcome to Revelations, the place where we speak truth to power. I'm Cole Johnson, and I am so glad you're able to join us. I respect those that respect me. Life is too short, so I live it the way I choose to. That life motto is one of my next guests. His heart may belong to Brooklyn, but his presence is somewhere else. He's also making moves all over the place. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Real Wize Productions and Real Wize Radio, along with the host and producer of Stuck in My Mind podcast, my good friend Wil Otero, but I call him Wize El Jefe. And this is his revelation. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I think that picture's from Aruba.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I was actually going to ask where you took that picture. Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah, it's from our recent trip to Aruba.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Was it you and the missus, or?
Of course, yes. It's
Okay.
me and the missus. And last year we did Jamaica, but we love Aruba so much that we plan on doing a family trip. Right, the family come down with us.
Yeah, I understand that.
So what's going on, my brother?
Everything is good, man. Everything is really good, man. Thank you for coming on the platform. I appreciate this.
I appreciate you for having me on.
Man. All right. So we are going to get started. And we always get started, even though I know you real well, because you're one of my homeboys. Still, others might not. So we're going to open this show up with a segment I call Open the Way. Now, the way we open the way, we believe that conversation starts when vulnerability enters a room. So, of course, there's no issue with us. That's just how we roll. So you have mentioned to me many times in conversations, your roots are strong in Brooklyn. So where in Brooklyn did you and your family grow up?
Oh, well, I was born and raised in East New York, Brooklyn. It's at that time during the 80s and 90s, it was probably the murder capital in all of the United States. It was during the crack epidemic, and it was insane. But the crazy thing is, within the community, it was like we policed ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it was at a time where the cops over there were corrupt. They even made a documentary on it called the 75th Precinct, 75th, and it's based on that precinct during that time. And listen, it was gunshots every day, every night, drugs, crackheads everywhere, abandoned buildings, empty lots. Now you go there now, and it's a completely different neighborhood. It's more housing now, and like I said, not as many vacant lots. And I'm glad to see the evolution of that. I'm happy to see everybody wants to talk about gentrification, but that was one of the worst neighborhoods in all of Brooklyn. And to see where it's at now, I'm proud of my neighborhood.
Yeah. Now I've talked to many about gentrification, And it's one of the few times I've ever heard someone actually say, actually, gentrification was good for my particular neighborhood. Now, why would you say that, considering that I believe it may have helped clean out, I should say, clean up the area?
And
What?
that's what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
I grew up playing in abandoned buildings, like jumping
Right.
from one abandoned building to another. And
Right.
that was my reality at that time. That was what we had to play with. This is during the time where kids actually went outside and played.
Right. Yeah.
so so to see where it's at now and see that there's a lot of businesses going on that walk down the strip and walk down the Ave, and yes, a lot of the mom and pop stores are gone.
Hmm.
You have other people taking over stores, and to see that out, to see where it's come from to where it's at
Hmm.
now. I'm sure it still has its issues now because the whole entire city has its issues, but people always want to make it's we need to realize it's not a black and white thing. It's more than ever now. It's a rich and poor thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so for me to see, like I said, see my neighborhood come to where it is now, I rather see it that way than what it was back growing up.
I feel you. Yeah, I totally understand that. I feel that way about the neighborhood I grew up in too, because it was similar, very similar to yours. So yeah, I would love for that aspect of society to enter into my old neighborhood, but as you well know, it may enter in some and it may not in others.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are an Afro Latino. So tell me the benefits and the drawbacks, if any, in being black and Latino.
I, I don't identify like that. That's what I'm saying. Is it to me? It's
Okay.
because being Latino has everything. Like
Yeah.
being Puerto Rican, I
Right.
have I have African roots. I have
Right.
Spaniard roots. I have Taino Indian roots. So
Right.
for me, it's just I don't look at that as that. But I know the significance of seeing people like myself
Hmm.
do things like this. And growing up, we didn't see many people of color doing what we're doing.
Right.
If there were, it was very limited. And
Hmm.
this allows us to actually do what we love to do, but at the same time have ownership of it.
Right.
And that's something that's very key with me is
Hmm.
people when they started their doing whatever podcast, whatever, they're going in for the money and thinking about I need to get this sponsor and get that sponsorship, and yet they're not look. I'm looking at more. Yes, I'm looking at it as something I love to do, but it's also a business now for me. And so for me now is just trying to build something that I own. Like I still have my 9 to 5, but I'm building something here that I feel is going to be very successful. I have a great team that works with me. I have some great friends like you, Brian Snow, that have opened many doors for me and given me a chance to grow as a creator. And from a lot of it is I want to give back as well. That's why I have them in that radio station, and
Hmm.
I work with people whenever they ask they need help with anything. I'm always open door. I'm always because I want people to avoid some of the things that I went through starting up and doing what I'm doing now. And so if any way I can help anyone, I'm you know me, I'm always in.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's that's the one good thing I know about you, that your heart is open. And we definitely going to talk about how we met a little later, and we definitely going to talk about some of our mutual friends, and of course some of the people who influenced you too.
Yeah.
Uh, because obviously, whoever poured into you, they did a great job. One of them would have to be your mother, and you have an intense love for her. So if you had to think of one lesson that she taught you, it could have been when you were young, it could have been when you were in your 20s, it could be right now. What lesson
Um,
has stuck with you? from her?
Her door was open to everyone.
I see.
It was open to everyone. Everyone who came to the neighborhood visiting from anywhere out of state or from Puerto Rico, anywhere, any family friend,
Mhm.
they had a place to stay.
Yeah.
They had a couch, they had food, they were good. My like my brother's friends, whatever, it didn't matter. Her door was so open to everyone, and they knew
Mm.
that. And that's where I get a lot of the things that I do is from her. Is the kind of person she is. And listen, a single mom raising some, because well, the older ones are already out the house, but raising like three of us on her own,
Right.
she did a good job. She did as best as she could, and I'm blessed to have her still around.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm blessed, even though I've not met her. I'm blessed that she's still around because look, good God, she poured a lot of good nuggets into you, man. And that answer that you gave me, it's like I picture you doing the same thing, and I've seen you've done it with me. I've seen you do it with Brian. I've seen you do it with others, where it's like, man, this knowledge I have, man, I just want to share it because I think you all are cool people, so I think this is some good stuff you need to have. And that same energy that your mother, as you said, your mother has, you have, and I love that.
It's people think that we're out here competing with each other. Only person I'm competing with is myself.
Thank you.
Me.
Yes.
I'm competing with
Yes.
myself. I'm not competing with anyone else.
Yes.
I have to work to make myself better.
Right.
It's not me competing with you. It's not
Right.
like, so anything I gain, I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it with my peeps. I'm gonna share it with my friends. I'm gonna share it with people I care for because I want them to succeed just as me. I don't.
Right.
It's lonely at the top if you're the only one up there.
You would never lie.
You want to uplift as many. That's what people fail to realize. You want to uplift as many people as you can,
Mm-hmm.
and then your blessings will come. You will be
Yeah.
uplifted. But if you go into the mentality that it's all about me,
Mm.
it's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
It's not. It's really not gonna work because you're not serving anyone.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
serving yourself, and that is you're gonna drain yourself out eventually.
Man, drop them nuggets, homie. Yeah, you were correct, man. More with podcast and entrepreneur, Wize El Jefe, after this quick break.
Discouragement, sorrow, distance. Your arguments cause damage to your family. The hurt leads to divorce. You feel like there is nowhere else to turn. But there is hope for you. That's where we come into play. There is an overcomer that lives inside of you, one ready to take on the world as you leap for joy, living in victory. You'll grow to love yourself and others. There's life after divorce, and you can claim it today. Get Over Divorce, where your new story begins here every Thursday on YouTube and Spreaker.
Welcome back to Revelations. I'm Cole Johnson, and I am joined by podcaster and entrepreneur Wize El Jefe. And he has sufficiently opened the way, and he did it in such a fantastic fashion. It's now time to walk across that bridge to prosperity. Now, this is where we link childhood lessons to adult application. Now, of course, I did touch a little bit on it and open the way with the connection that Wize has with his mother. What ambitions did you have once you graduated from high school?
I didn't know. I didn't know what I wanted to do, honestly. I figured I would just go get a job and work somewhere for a few years, whatever. I didn't really know what was my purpose, and I bounced around from job to job. Fell in love, moved to Florida, lived in Florida for a few years and stuff. And but I was never really had a job for too long. I,
Gotcha.
it wasn't. I just never found the job that really made me like. You really want to go somewhere and work somewhere when I don't want like when I have some energy in me where I no longer want to be at that job. I don't be there. I'm just that kind of person. I just can't deal with that energy.
Florida, what drew you to move from New York to there?
Ah, my first wife, which is actually her birthday today. So happy heavenly birthday, Denise. We miss you dearly. But yeah, man, it was her. I met her during a time in my life where I was in I was down, I was headed I was not down. I was really not I wasn't a bad person, but
Yeah,
I was doing things that I had no business doing.
yeah,
I should have learned from the lessons from my brothers, but I still did things. And but I fell in love, changed, moved down to Florida, um, basically just changed my life. And I was lucky because after I moved to Florida, a lot of my friends and stuff ended up getting incarcerated and locked up. So
man, yeah,
for me, it was a blessing to get escape and go live my life and in Florida.
man. Good timing. Wow. So, how long did you have with your first wife? If you don't mind me asking.
I was with my first wife from the age of 21 till I turned 31.
Oh, that was early. Okay.
Yeah, she she's the one who started me on my journey to self education and self development, and she introduced me to The Secret and all these other books, and so she's the one who started that path for me. But I think she was preparing me for what was to come,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
so yeah,
Yeah.
and so for me it was she was a big part of me. Like saying this is like the first beginning few years of my adult life, and so she was a big part of my world.
Mhm. Yeah. I can tell there's some imprints of her into how you operate and move now. Now, ever since I've met you, which known you, which has not been long, but it feels like it's been years. Not in a bad sense, but in a good
No,
sense.
no, you know what it is? It's sometimes it's those relationships you build with people that you're able to actually just be yourself. Like
Yeah.
when me and you speak, we have
Hmm.
conversations. We sit down, we'll start talking, and we'll talk for an hour or so
Right.
just on life and everything.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you tend to when you meet people like that, and that's the kind of energy you put out there. That's the kind of people that
Mm.
gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
And so I've been
I
blessed
agree.
now with the way my mindset is and the way I'm trying to move. I'm attracting people who are the
Hmm.
same vibration, who want the same
Yeah.
thing as me, and so that's why me and you, it feels like we've known each other for years. People would
Yeah.
think me and you known each other for years because of the way we carry ourselves with each other and the
Hmm.
conversations we can have.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. And I love it. I love it. And you're 100% correct. I think I'm now at a time in my life too. Same thing. Same thing. Good spot in my life where I'm getting a lot of whatever the negative stuff I had in me out, and I'm attracting positivity away from people. And it is showing that I'm attracting the positivity because I'm attracting like-minded positivity, minded people into my sphere. And I love it. I love it. And of course, you're definitely one of them. I don't think I've seen you blow your top yet. I've seen you passionate, but I don't think I've ever seen you just be rah rah. So your calm, cool demeanor, has that always been the case with you?
yes, I'm I'm just laid back, man. I'm like a big
Mhm.
teddy bear. But now, if you get some liquor in me, it's something different. It's something different. But for the most part, I'm laid back. You know me.
Yeah.
I like my I like my the I smoke. I'm not gonna lie. I like my herb. But let's put it out there. I smoke my herb. I'm good. I'm all right.
Oh man.
I'm me and Stupid good. Me and Stupid get along very well. Let's put it that way.
Oh Lord, y'all having y'all having weed smoking contests.
Oh man, nah, but I've just calmed down. I'm not crazy like that. I gotta still function. I gotta still shit. I gotta do, man.
Yeah, right.
I got a lot of stuff. Like we got plans over here, so I got if that becomes an issue, then I have to leave it alone. But
Yeah,
for me, I'm just laid back, man. Bro, I just
yeah.
chill. I enjoy life. I'm blessed to have a wife that's very supportive.
Hmm.
She's helped me through a lot. She's helped me become a better person. Like I said, she, my wife now, one of the first things she said when we was dating was like, "Do you have a passport?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Well, we need to get you one because I like to travel." And to me, that was like one of the sexiest things to me. It was like, "Oh, okay, all right,
Hmm.
all right, you got plans like that? All right, well, yeah." So I've been able to experience going to the Bahamas with my wife,
Hmm.
Jamaica, Aruba this year, been
Yeah.
to the Dominican Republic a few times. So we got other places that we plan on visiting, and but it's just being able to find that person that believes in you and sees your vision.
Right.
Because when I first started, I'm what you call a PP, a pandemic podcaster, and
Ah.
so that's what I've just learned. I heard that term the other day. Somebody told me I was a PP. I was like, PP was that people person? I didn't know. Like, no, you're a pandemic podcast. I'm like,
A
yeah,
pandemic
all right, yeah,
podcaster.
whatever you want to call me. But I just, to me, it was just she was like, I know you really love this because before that I was always on my PlayStation.
Hmm.
Always. Like I would come home from work and I'm on the PlayStation. She would come home and I'm on the PlayStation.
Hmm.
And so when she realized that my PlayStation was collecting dust and I wasn't playing anything and I was more focused on recording and building the stuff that I have, she was like, "All right, let's all right, can we make something out of this? Because there's something we can do." Because my wife is the ultimate hustler.
Right.
She is the ultimate. She helps everyone and their mama build a business. She does. That's what she does. She's helped numerous friends build, and she's that smart. She's just that smart, and she's good. She's got a good eye for business and all that. So it's like, what can we do to get you going? What do we with it? Where? So she helped me start my LLC. Just start building stuff up, and Real Wize Productions was born with the help of my wife and my nephew.
Man. Yeah, your wife and my wife could probably compete in that realm. Because I know the feeling, bro. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. It's like, man, I'm doing what I'm doing. And my wife is like, really? You want to stay there? Nah, no, step your game up. I'm like, all right. Now you spoke of interests. I think you just alluded to one of them. What interests did you have as a youngster and as a young adult?
Uh Sports. Like
Mm.
I used to play. I played, of course, little league, high school baseball. Played high school football,
Mhm.
and then just whatever sports we us neighborhood kids would play. Like we'll go to the nearest park, play some baseball, play some punch ball, handball, basketball, whatever it was. Again, we come from a time where we actually played outside. Like we actually went out and hung out in the streets and played stickball in the middle of the street and all that. So it was just hanging out, and then Nintendo came, and then that just kind of changed everything.
Oh yeah, I wore out consoles too. Ooh man, that's what I thought. And yeah, we'll probably delve a little more into your gaming. We definitely gonna delve into sports, obviously, because that's how we know each other.
Well, if you could see one of my other big loves, if you look back there, I don't know if you see Stone Cold and my big daddy Cool Diesel back there. So
Wrestling. Yes. Yes. And we'll probably talk a little bit about that too. More with podcaster and entrepreneur Wize El Jefe right after this.
Of course, Steph Curry, Tim Anderson, Jordan Alvarez, and it's caught. Debo Samuel with the catch.
Michael Jordan can sense
The throw just got the king.
BS3 Network.
The hottest of hot takes, the coldest of cold hard facts. This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Weekdays at 8 a.m. Eastern. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Podcaster, entrepreneur, and self-admitted weed smoker, Wize El Jefe has joined me on Revelations. Man, yeah, we're having a good time as we always do. Each and every conversation we have, and he's opened the way. We've walked across that bridge. Now it is time for us to understand what is behind the purpose. Now, behind the purpose, it is the reason why we function the way we do. And we will talk about how we met a little later. But your platform that most people know you by is stuck in my mind. And I can remember when I first saw the platform because it was actually a week after I met you. So, I'm thinking, okay, well, this guy, he talks mad trash and good mad trash about sports. I love that. His energy is great. He's amped. He analyzes it beautifully. It's like this guy is second nature behind the mic when it comes to sports. Little did I know this dude is doing a mental health podcast. So, what was the origin of Stuck in My Mind?
I was stuck in my mind. I was in my head. Yeah, like I said, I was heavy into self development in 2000, early 2000s and stuff like that. And so when I lost the niece and I kind of lost my way, I was stuck in my head, man. I knew what I had to do to get out of it, but just wasn't working. It was just me in there, not knowing, just knowing this, knowing. It's one of the craziest things is that knowing what you have to do, and you just not willing to do it, like just not doing it because you're angry, you're mad, it's everything. And so me doing my podcast now it reflects on it's a lot of the hurt and the tragedies that happened after Denise as well. So to be able to speak on it and show that it's okay, especially in the Black and brown community where we are taught that men are strong. We're not supposed to show emotions. We're not supposed to seek help. We're supposed to do this on our own. Yeah. And no, that's not the case. Listen, we're fragile. We're fragile as anyone else.
You never lied. And
so for me to be able to show that platform and show that, listen, it's okay for people to go get help. It's actually a sign of strength when you go get help. I'm saying it's not a sign of weakness, but that's what's been programmed into us. I'm saying that's what we've been taught, that we don't cry, we don't show emotions. Nah, man, it's sometimes me being the person that I am and being raised by my mom is like opened a different side of me. It's like I'm more of an empathetic person than the average probably guy because of how I was raised.
Yeah.
And so for me it was like when I first started, it was me venting about work and all that, and I
Right.
had a great time talking about it, just talking,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't enjoy the content. So when I switched it over to a more conversation piece,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it really started hitting me that, hey, I got something here. This is something I feel like I'm pretty good at it. Let me continue. Again, I'm here to serve the people. I'm here to serve people, help them grow and develop, because this is what life is. It's just lessons.
Yeah. And we're meant to learn from and gather and gain inspiration from one another. Yeah, it took me a long time to understand that and be at home with that too.
Yeah, it did. It took me a while. It took me a long time to figure out that yes, I
Mhm.
was angry with God, spirit, whatever it was, because of everything that happened in my life. I had no control over that, and so for me to be angry over something I had no control over, just then it finally sunk in. It made no sense to me. It's like you're beating yourself up for some things you had no power over.
Wow.
Now, the things you do have power over, you're messing that up too. So you need to wake up and start rearranging and getting your together.
Mhm.
And again, once I did that, I attracted my wife. Started attracting things that were in the positive, that were helping me get out of the mindset and the mind frame that I was in for those few years.
You act like you do this because the next question I was going to ask you was, are there any particular people you would like to interview? I mean, it's like it's like you guided me to the questions I have. I love
Oh
it.
man, listen, I want to interview everybody. To be honest, because
Mm,
it's just a conversation. It's just being able to have these conversations with these people and learn and realize that, hey, at the core of it all, we're all the same. We all want the same thing. We all want happiness. We all want success. We all want that in life. And it's just the fact that I don't even. So I'm very into knowing that we're programmed at a very young age,
right.
and we're programmed to believe that we need to work at 9 to 5 jobs for 30, 40
Hmm.
years and then retire and then enjoy our life. And no, we need to enjoy that now. Like, life is too precious. Like, from everything that I've learned, that life is just too precious for me to just like waste time not being happy.
Mm.
Everybody has their moments. This day, I'm not saying I'm happy 24/7.
No, of
That's
course
just
not.
not possible.
No.
But I'm not. There's just people that are just miserable in life, that
Yeah.
they just wake up with that
Yeah.
angriness and bitterness in their life, and
Hmm.
I can't do that, man.
Yeah.
But
So.
eventually, my ultimate goal is to no longer work a 9 to 5, because
Hmm.
I need my freedom.
Hmm. Well, it is like what Stone Cold said one time. I woke up pissed off. So. What are other ways that you attempt to stay balanced mentally?
Oh man, spending time with the grandkids. That's another one.
Oh man, that seems to be one where you get humbled.
Oh,
Not
I
you
have a great
specific,
time.
you in general.
Yeah, I have a great time. Like,
Yeah.
when I got my grandson Bryson, he runs me. So, but just to see his excitement and the way and now he's learning words, and the only programming we ever put on TV is just educational things, and to see him his face light up when a certain song comes on and he'll start singing it, and then I'll start singing with him, and then I'll just make voices. It's with him. I actually get to practice my voiceover work,
See?
because you get to make weird voices, and he laughs and entertains
Mhm.
him. So it's to me, it's that's definitely something that relaxes me, and and he just jumps. He doesn't stop jumping.
Well, he probably was born 30 years too late. He would have been a member of Crisscross. But oh man, well, obviously, the things you're doing have great purpose, and I'm so glad that you shared a whole lot of that with me and with us here. Man, yeah, your purpose is huge, and I'm glad to be a part of that. Just in calling you a friend, I'm glad that I'm part of it.
I'm definitely glad we're friends, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, in just a short time, me and you've linked up. We've connected very, like, it's a great bond, and we sat. Like I said, we've sat and had conversations, and we've talked about life, and we've talked about whatever was bothering us. So to be able to have someone to talk to like that, like I said, that's big on mental health. Like, build those relationships where you can actually have a conversation with somebody. Where you could actually, like, yo, Dad, I've been down on this little, and have somebody that's gonna be like, oh, you dumb can't. Nah, you have somebody like, yo, yeah, nah, man, he's good, man. Just being able to have the relationship with someone where it's okay, cool. It's cool to be vulnerable, to be yourself, and let people know, like, hey, I'm having this issue, and to get advice on that. It's nothing wrong with that.
No, none at all.
So, like I said, to build these relationships like that I have been building these last couple of years with all the people, amazing people that I met through podcasting.
Yeah.
Some of my biggest supporters are fellow podcasters.
Right.
Like, cheering me on for everything. And you don't even have family members that cheer you on that hard, or don't support your stuff like that. And you have complete strangers that you just met cheering you on and telling you, hey, man, I love your stuff. You're doing good. You're doing great. Keep it up.
Right.
And of course, you do have family members that do support you, and you have friends that do support you. This community will amaze you. This community, this podcasting community will amaze you, just because I guess we know the work we put into what we're doing.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
We know the struggles that we go through as independent podcasters. We don't have the big machines of Spotify, Apple. We don't have them backing us.
Right.
We do this because we love it, and a lot of us for a lot of us it's just a hobby. But for me, it's something. It's more than that.
Yeah.
And I just try to do the best I can.
Well, I know it's life for you, it's life for me, and it's life that's going to make our lives better. That much I do know. More with Wize El Jefe after this timeout.
If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon. And every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets.
Winding it down with Wize El Jefe on Revelations. I am Cole Johnson. And he has opened the way. He has walked across that bridge along with me into prosperity. He has given you what his purpose is. And now it is time to bring things to light. Now, all of us shine in a unique way, and you, sir, are no different. We are 2/3 of a show that we helm called Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. You saw the commercial earlier. So, how did your involvement with Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson come about?
Okay, so I was introduced to Brian Snowman, by someone who will remain nameless, because we called him Voldemort, so we don't speak his name. So anyway, me and Brian hit it off. He came and did my show. I came a couple of times and did Snowman in the Morning, and we just hit it off. And then he came back on my show, did a repeat engagement. We had a great time. And then I came on I came on earlier this year, I think. I can't remember, but a little bit after that, he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I was thinking, how would you like to be a permanent fixture on Snowman in the Morning?" And of course, like I said, I have my day job, and at that time, I was off Sunday, Monday, so I could do Monday mornings.
Right.
And I was like, "All right, cool," because I love talking sports. I love sports. It gives me opportunity to expand on what I'm doing. It gives me another lane for me to do something in. As besides the mental health, it's a lane that I really enjoyed the topics on sports. So it was a no-brainer for me. And I was like, all right, let's do this. And so that first episode that we did together, I was just spitting what I know.
Well, for those who want to know, he spat what he knew, and when it comes to sports, Mr. Wize El Jefe knows a lot about it. Oh my gosh! All right, I'll give you an example, and I'll phrase this in a question afterwards. So, one show, and I think this was like 2 weeks into our partnership, we actually have a guest on, and we talk wrestling, and he flowed so seamlessly into wrestling as he did. He was talking about football or basketball, just flowed seamlessly into it. So, because the question I have to ask you now is, how did you gather a love of wrestling?
My older brother. He took me, like, I used to go to the Garden and watch Hogan, watch Bundy, watch Steamboat, Macho Man, Big John Studd, Andre the Giant. I saw some of the greats.
It's a Federation era. Okay.
Yeah, I seen the Rock. I saw the Rock and Roll era and all that. So
right.
And so from that moment on, I was hooked. Like I love wrestling. That, like, my mom bought me every single one of those WWF. Like, now they're so much. They're so advanced. Like, they got flexible arms. And, like, back then, these was just hard rubber, and they couldn't bend. They wouldn't bend anywhere. So
no.
But I had them all. I had so many of them. So to me, it was just I loved wrestling. And then when they started really transitioning into the Attitude Era, that's when I truly fell in love with it. Like, because now you have The Rock. You have someone that looks like me,
right,
on TV. Like, yeah, Steamboat, yeah, whatever, but you have The Rock, who looks like me, like a man. I'm like, what's this?
Yeah,
what's going on here? Like, you're used to seeing the Hitman, you're used to seeing the Hogans.
Even someone used to seeing Stone Cold, although he was a different type of character.
Yeah.
It's one where you'd say, yeah, I could picture if he would have hit the nerve and strike the right nerve, I could picture him going to the top, which he did.
Yeah. And so to me, that was like, and then Stone Cold, you had DX, you had the Undertaker. So like it got really the Attitude Era to me was the greatest, man.
Mm-hmm.
You just had some of the best storylines, you had some of the best matches, man. The Razor Ramon's Shawn Michaels ladder match, the Hitman Shawn Michaels match.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, like Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H. You had Mick Foley. It was like a mixture of everything. You had every type of character in WWE, and I was just hooked. Like, and then especially when the video games came out, I was buying the video games, and but yeah, man, to me it was just my brother, just being able to go to the garden and see. And we were in like close. We was up in the nosebleeds, but it was just the excitement of seeing those matches and the crowd going wild, and it was great.
Mm. So, Wize El Jefe. Okay, what does it mean, and how did this nickname come to be?
Well, Wize is my gamer tag. It's just, for me, I've always felt like I knew I knew stuff, but I knew I was capable of learning more. So someone to me who is wise is someone who doesn't know everything.
Right.
So for me, it was just a gamer tag, but it was actually more than that. And so when I started podcasting, I just took, because it was Wize Be Blunt on my gamer tag. And then, of course, it's because I was 420, whatever. But then it started becoming to where I was actually blunt with people. I would just speak my mind. And then I just switched it. When I switched to podcasting, I didn't want it to continue to be Wize Be Blunt, because I wanted to be more known. I didn't want it to be thinking that associate me with just smoking.
Right.
And so I've always felt that I was a boss, man. Like I've had that spirit in me for the longest. Like I've tried multiple different business opportunities, and they didn't go anywhere, but that didn't stop me. Like that's what people fail to realize. Like, entrepreneurship is not, you're not going to be successful at every single business you do.
No.
And you're going to have some failures, but what you do is learn from them failures. Learn your lesson. That's what it is. Everything you do in life is to learn your lesson. And some of us are much more hard-headed than others, then they continue to learn the same lesson.
You hit me right in the gut and the heart with that one, man, because my hair is hard as a brick. I know out of one of those 4 teams, you had to say, man, I'm falling in love with this. Which of those teams was it?
That would be baseball.
That's what I thought.
That would be baseball. That is my first love. It was baseball. I come from a Puerto Rican family.
Oh yeah.
So my dad played baseball. My dad played baseball.
Latino culture, yeah.
My dad played baseball. My brothers played baseball. To me, every Sunday, growing up, I would go see my brothers play softball. Like they would play in Sunday leagues, and it was like a family event, because everybody would go to the ballpark and they'll grill, whatever. And we would travel. We would travel all over Brooklyn, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut. And it was a different time. It was actually a time where it was a community, man. Like I said, it was like every Sunday we was at the ballpark, at the baseball park, watching somebody in the family play.
Real Wize Productions and Real Wize Radio.
Yeah.
How did both of those entities come to fruition for you?
Like I said, when the wife saw that this is something I'm serious about and I was pretty good at, she's like, okay, let's start a business. And I was really learning skills that I could use. I was learning editing skills, graphic design, basically using Canva and just building something like I said, ownership. I wanted everything that I create. I want ownership of. I don't want no one to come claim anything that I'm doing. This is I've invested in myself, and so that was a no brainer for me, was to start the corporation and start building and using the skills that I obtained by doing what I'm doing. Like a couple of years ago, I didn't know anything about editing. I didn't know anything about voiceover work. I didn't do any of that. I knew it existed, but it wasn't something that was. If you would have asked me 4 years ago, would I be doing this? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
And but doing it and getting good at it and being able to generate some income from it, from people hiring me now to edit their podcast. Hey, fine, that's great. That's making money doing something I love to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so the radio station came about because everybody was getting censored everywhere. Like, I just felt I wanted to give people a platform where they can be themselves and do shows that wouldn't be taken off of the air because of something they said.
Right.
I'm as long as you don't preach hate and violence and all that, but I believe in your rights to speak your mind and do what you do. So I felt that the radio station was the platform that eventually would be able to, if it's done right and we get the right shows on there, it can grow into something big where everyone that's a part of the radio station eats.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Like I said, I want everyone to eat. I don't
Mhm.
want to just be at the table by myself.
Yeah.
It's not fun eating by yourself.
Podcast and entrepreneur Wize El Jefe joins me on Revelations, and this is the time of the show we invoke De La Soul and we go plug Tunin. So, of course, this is the part of the show where we allow our guest to plug whatever it is their heart desires. So, Mr. Wize El Jefe, whatever you want to plug, go for it.
All right. Well, check out my podcast, Stuck in My Podcast, on all major platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Podbean. I'm on every single platform you can imagine. Check out my website, realwiseproductions.com. Check out the radio station. It's www.realwiseradio.com. You can find Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson Monday through Fridays, 8 to 11 a.m. And can I can't forget. I got
Go ahead.
There's my nephew's book, The Plush Life from Prison to Peace. It's an amazing book. It's his it's just a great book to read. It's one of those things where we he had faith in me and I had faith in him and I support him and we put that book out for him. And like I said, it's a great read. It's something where when people hear it, they think about prison, but yes, he wrote it while he was locked up and incarcerated, but it's more about freeing yourself from the prison of your mind. And what else? Do I have anything else? Oh, definitely check me out on Snowman in the Mornings. I'm there every Thursday and Friday.
That's
But
right.
check him out every day. Definitely check him out every day.
Mhm.
And you like doing this show right here with you today, it made me realize I need to step up my producer game. Like, like, oh man, he got segments for everything, and then he's got the things that go with it. I'm like, man, I gotta step up my game. like I have my own plug-in section, like this, and I just let them plug away. But you actually got graphics. Like I need to like I said, I need to step up my producer game. Like this show right here just made me realize, like,
wow,
yeah, I'm lacking.
It's not meant for that to happen, but
no. Listen, that's why I love this, man. Is to be able to learn, man. Like I gotta step up my this. What like doing this show made me realize I gotta step up my game. Like that's just me. That's just the fire in me. Like
I feel you,
man. My man is doing a great show. I need to really step my shit up, man. Damn.
Oh, I feel you. I do. I understand that because I'm the same way. I'm like, man, if I'm on someone else's platform and I like what they do, I'm like, man, I gotta borrow that because my stuff it's not looking like that. If I do that, it would look even crispier. I love that. Oh yeah, I know that.
No, I definitely have to. I know I'm gonna have to definitely step my game up for when we go into the BS3 network. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
So, but doing this show right here just gave me some ideas. Like, all right,
awesome.
Like we've spoken, and I've told you about a couple of segments that I want to do, which I need you to do the voiceover for one of them. So I'll let you know.
Just let me know.
And yeah, that's it, man. That's everything I got to plug.
All right. Well, as you've heard, as you've seen, and as you've watched and listened, it is one of my close personal friends, podcaster and entrepreneur, Wize El Jefe. Man, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Revelations, man.
Oh, nothing. You've been checking my pictures, man. I'm like, yo, he jacked some real good pictures too. Like I don't remember sending them, but
You go through life sometimes perplexed as to how you can't connect with somebody. You go out of your way to find some sort of common ground, but you just don't find it. And then for me, there's Wize. To feel that easygoing energy, to not have to explain yourself and to be accepted on the spot is gratifying. The Bible says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." You wouldn't think that we'd meet a laid-back New Yorker in these days, yet I've met one. And he's a guy who has his passions and beliefs. He also has his mission. After all, like Peter Gunn said one time, Wize is New York to the heart, but got love for all.
Man, many thanks to Wize El Jefe for joining me and giving us his perspective on life. And I love it. And why don't you join us every Tuesday on YouTube or even live, where you will see a different person being interviewed each and every week. For changing the world one conversation at a time, I'm Cole Johnson, and this has been another episode of Revelations.
Thank you for tuning into Revelations. To download this episode, go to Acast and type Revelations. For apparel, go to Spring and type Revelations. Music by Lakey Inspired.